What's up, Totem Pole Nation? Welcome back to Lambo and Matt's World of Sports. Today, we are getting into the news of Jim Harbaugh becoming the Chargers head coach. And like the question asked in the title, is that the number one duo of quarterback to head coach in the NFL? We'll get into that and more in this episode. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and visit totempolenation.com to get some gear to support the boys. Without further ado, let's go.
Shout out to Jim Harbaugh, but I am going to troll Michigan fans because of all that hate and all that slander you gave Jim Harbaugh. He did everything he could at Michigan. Now, you could say the NCAA was going to suspend him for more games. That's possibly the truth. But Jim Harbaugh did what he did. He did everything he could at Michigan for the past 9 seasons. He gave y'all a national championship. What more do you want? You know Jim Harbaugh at some point wanted to go back to the NFL starting in 2020, starting in 2021 when he interviewed with the Vikings and he interviewed with other teams the past 3 years, and it didn't really work out, and now he got a job with the Chargers. Now, this is a great, perfect fit. Here's why. Jim Harbaugh has had great success with the 49ers. He elevated Alex Smith. He elevated Colin Kaepernick. He's a rough, rowdy guy, but he wins games. I mean, look what he did with the 49ers. In 3 seasons, he took them to an NFC Championship game and a Super Bowl. And then, he had that 8-8 season, but it wasn't a losing record. So I want all you Michigan fans to calm down. You probably hired Sharon Moore, the offensive coordinator, as the head coach. So y'all will be fine. All right? I don't know if y'all will be national championship caliber fine, but you'll be okay. I just want you fans just to stop bashing the man. He did everything he could for y'all. And within the past 3 seasons in Michigan, y'all won 12-plus games. So what more do you want for the man? Now, the question is this the best QB head coach duo? Yes. Now, before, let's say Andy Reid retires this season. There has been rumors saying that Andy Reid might retire. He might not come back. If he doesn't come back, then yes, this is the best head coach and quarterback duo. If he doesn't come back, then it stays Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, obviously. But if Andy Reid retires, then this is the one. Here's why. The Chargers are a great situation for Jim Harbaugh. They already have weapons. They have Khalil Mack, Asante Samuel Jr., Joey Bosa. The only problem with Joey Bosa and Mike Williams is that they've been injury-prone the past couple seasons, so they do have to stay healthy. The last couple of years, they had not played really a full season, or at least to the end. So they have talent on defense. Offense, Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen. They have the weapons. They just didn't have a coach like Brandon Staley. He couldn't get over a hump. You hired a defensive coach. Jim Harbaugh can fix everything. I think the Chargers will be fine. I'm not going to say they're Super Bowl champions or Super Bowl contenders just yet, but I will say that a division in the AFC West is going to be tougher. It's going to be a lot tougher, especially with the Raiders and Antonio Pierce. I think they're going to be competitive if they can find a quarterback. But I'm going to tell you this right now. This team might make the AFC Championship game, and I want y'all to clip this. The Chargers are going to be very, very dangerous, and I have full confidence in Jim Harbaugh. The Chargers got it right. This is a great hire. They do need to find a GM. But by the way, there's reports that saying that Jim Harbaugh will get the final say, is what he wanted with the San Francisco 49ers 10 years ago. So he got what he wanted. This team will be fine.
So I'm just disagreeing right off the bat here. I think that if Andy and Pat are not still in the league next year, it still wouldn't be Harbaugh and Herbert. I think it's his brother and Lamar. I think that's the best quarterback head coach duo in the league. And nothing against Jim. I think the Chargers got a great hire here. But I mean, they've won a Super Bowl. He's got an MVP quarterback, over there is in Baltimore, I think a little bit more of a case for best duo in the league, but we didn't really get to see too much of Jim as, a successful head coach with the Niners before they ran him out of town. The Chargers, on paper, every year, it's always the same thing. They have a very talented team. How far will they go? Well, this year they have the number 5 overall pick. All right. So it didn't go well, but this team gets to add an immediate starter to the roster in the draft. The issues I have with the Chargers, everybody at this point is old. Like, they have a very good team on paper. No doubt about it. You really can't argue. You can argue with a wall about that if you want to, but like, you can't have an actual conversation without acknowledging how much talent is on that team. But like you mentioned, Bosa, injury prone. Mike Williams, past few years, injury prone. Keenan Allen is like 32, 33. Also gets hurt a fair amount. Herbert, not his fault, but this is, he didn't finish the season with them, 5-12. Austin Eckler's decline. Now, this might just, be a little bit fantasy biased, but I think even fantasy aside, just him as a running back this year, he was a shell of his former self. Nothing even close, I think, to what the Austin Eckler we're used to seeing. So, I mean, they're going to have to do something right with this 5th overall pick. I don't know what direction they go because they do need a number 3 at the wide receiver. And with both receivers getting older, could be a guy that, slips up to the number 2, then eventually the number 1. I don't know what they're going to do. What I do know is that I trust Jim. Justin Herbert has been great. I don't really think the shortcomings have been his fault. But the Chargers, since, we've been born, really, have been a team that is loaded with talent, and they're a first-round exit, or they don't even make it. That's from Phillip Rivers, LT, Antonio Gates, those days. Even Drew Brees, that one really good year he had with them. Great on paper, can't get anything done. So hopefully Jim, can turn those tides. But I do think, to wrap it full circle here, I think the number 1 head coach QB duo in the league is still Pat and Andy. I think number 2 is John Harbaugh and Lamar, and then we can start talking about Jim and Justin.
Well, what happens if the Ravens don't make the Super Bowl? What happens? Because we talked about the Ravens where they've only won 3 playoff games since 2015. Now, I'm not sitting here saying Lamar Jackson's a bad quarterback, but at the end of the day, Lamar Jackson said it himself. He's getting older. He has to get a Super Bowl ring. So would this loss affect the ratings of the best QB head coaching duo, or like?
I don't think so for this coming season, just because, Jim hasn't been in the NFL for so long. And on the flip side with Herbert, not completely his fault, but he also hasn't had any playoff success. They blew a 34-point lead to the Jags last year, there's not much playoff success to be talked about when it comes to the Chargers either. And I think, just because Jim has been out of the NFL for so long, it's hard to say just because if the Ravens do lose in the AFC Championship game, that I would then put Jim and Justin above John and Lamar. I think we just have to give Jim and Justin time. Because, look, whether we like it or not, their first couple losses, say this team goes on like a 2 or 3 game, slow streak. The questions and the media narratives about Jim Harbaugh and is he, was he ready to come back to the NFL? Should he have stayed at Michigan? Blah, blah, blah. All that shit. Mark my words. Put it on a calendar for October 1st. Like, there are going to be articles written that are just complete baloney, bullshit. It's not going to be, real media art. It's those bullshit things that ESPN come out with once a month anyways. But I think, the timing of it is just too early to say that they are great. But I will also say at the same time, when we see those articles early in the season, because somebody has a bad game, it's also way too early to start shitting on them just because, it's Jim Harbaugh and he's a polarizing figure.
Well, this is it for Lambo Matt Twitter Sports. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Total Nation. We also want to thank you, Solid Sports Network, for the platform. Like I said, we will be back Coach Ball, welcome on a happy Friday. I know you're sitting at the beach, looking nice. All that beautiful weather in Florida. Like I said, Total Pro headquarters is in Florida. But like I said, we will be back for the next episode. Adios. Y'all please take care.